Greetings from, I guess they call this area Roanoke, Virginia. I think it's closer to Hollins College or University or something, so just barely into Roanoke. I don't think I brought my microphone, so I hope you can hear me all right. Just using the what do they call these things? Telephone, cell phone microphone. I am in a hotel room. I dropped my friend off. I I can't talk tonight, but a few days, weeks ago, the friend of mine in Fredericksburg asked me if I would drive her to Roanoke today so she could look at a house. She's recently retired and is thinking of moving to this area. Has some, I guess, her ex's in-laws that she still gets along with are in this area. So she's actually out at a birthday party for one of the cousins, no, nephews, I guess would be the right term. Her ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband's brother's child. I think he turned 21. And I'm driving her car. I drove her down here, which she was happy because we had a very strong rainstorm about Harrisonburg once we got to the west of the first mountain range, to the west of Shenandoah National Park and Skyline Drive. The clouds opened up and it was a little bit hard to see on the interstate. And then it's been a steady rain here at the hotel pretty much ever since we arrived, which I believe was about 5 o'clock tonight, and it's like 9:30 now. I've got the other phone, my phone, here in my pocket because I expect she's going to call me to come pick her up when the celebration dinner, whatever it is over. Although the in-laws may drive her back here. She's got a key to the room, but I just thought I'd make a video. I told you this was going to be my Facebook feed, but I guess on Facebook everybody puts on their best face or social media in general, and I want to gripe a little bit today. I got a wonderful night's sleep last night at my parents' house, but let's start with this quote-unquote hot tea. It's barely warm. They have hot water and two things of coffee. I guess it's decaf and regular downstairs in the lobby. Well, it says it's hot water. They had one energizing tea bag out, so I went to the desk and asked them for some English breakfast or Earl Grey, and they got another one, and then I came up and got my big old cup that's been having Diet Mountain Dew in it all the way down here. Dumped out the ice that was left, went down, got the hot water, put the tea bag in, poured a little bit of the honey they had down there in, and I take a swig, and all I get is a mouthful of undissolved honey because it's not hot at all. I think it's lukewarm, so the tea has kind of steeped. So I come up to the room, see if there's a microwave. No. A coffee pot? No. So really no way to heat up the water if it's not hot downstairs. I haven't told you the name of the hotel, but I want to go back to this morning. I actually picked up the second house. It ended, I guess, about 5 o'clock yesterday. Their flight was an hour and 41 minutes late leaving Madrid. It was about an hour late getting into Dulles. She texted me as she flew over the house. Oh, I just saw the island, so we're about to land. And I was getting the updates. I texted her back and said, I'm at Mom and Dad's unloading the car, so I'll have room to pick you up. Because I try to be moved out by the time the owners get back. I don't want to have to be packing up the car while they're trying to get settled in, and we're trying to, compare notes for the week or 2 weeks, or in this case, 3.5 weeks. So I try to have everything ready for them before they get home. So I put all of Leo's blankets and bedspreads. She uses a lot of coverings on the couches and the beds that he's allowed on, They were gone 3.5 weeks, so she put covers on. So I tried to wash all those. They have a huge, new, smart washing machine, but obviously I put too much in it. It got unbalanced a couple of times. And instead of taking like 40 or 50 minutes, which it said, it kept going to like 10 minutes, then it'd go back to 20 minutes, then it would get unbalanced. So finally I took the big one out from the couch downstairs and just put it in the utility sink and tried to let the rest. It still didn't finish by the time I got to the airport. And she's like, "Oh, we didn't expect you to do all that." I told her I washed the sheets because a sister got off the plane with them with a great big suitcase. So I'm glad I emptied out the car. Nice lady, and I'd forgotten that her car was parked there. Apparently, she came in the night before me, flew out. Then they flew out the next day and all met up for the family reunion and flew back together. So obviously, since I was bringing them to the house and her car was at the house, she just rode with me, which was fine. But it was a little tight with 3 people and 3 carry-ons and 1 big suitcase. So it's a good thing I cleaned out the car. It took them about an hour to get through customs. Let me try this tea. And they had no cream down there. No, I prefer heavy whipping cream, but usually at these places all you get is half and half. They said there was a container that said carnation, what do you call that stuff? Instant cream or something? Coffee creamer, I guess. I said, no, I'm not putting that stuff in here. That's almost all, I think, soybean oil. I would rather have it black if it gets hot enough to steep the tea bag. But anyway, so I get to Mom and Dad's last night. I go to bed at like 9 o'clock because I'm really tired from getting up at 8 to feed the dog, take it for a walk. Some days I got to take a nap, some days I didn't. I think I slept about 9 hours last night. 8 in a deep sleep according to my sleep tracking app, which just, I guess, listens to the room, and about an hour of light sleep. That's pretty good for me because with the airplanes going over the house, I had a deep, light. I think every 20, 30 minutes when an airplane came over, I had lighter sleep. Maybe it was hearing the airplane, maybe it was hearing me, I don't know. Anyway, I slept well last night, and I drove an hour and a half, I guess, to Fredericksburg. But at Mom and Dad's place, they have 1.5 baths, so the shower is off in the bathroom off of their bedroom. So I just said, I'll stop at Planet Fitness on the way out. There's one I went to a lot over Thanksgiving and Christmas when I was up there last year. Always nice, always clean. So I get there today, I get undressed, have my towel, go into the shower, get all wet, try to get some soap. No soap! There's 2 people. There's 4 showers and 2 people already in 2. So I turn that one off and I go to the other empty one. Still no soap. Well, they had a bar of like Dove or something. I'm like, I'm not using somebody else's bar of soap. I'll wait for one of these to empty. So I just stay in it. I thought I would shave, but I'm like, nah, I usually like to wash my face before I shave. I had the shaving cream and all. I said, no, I'll just wait. So then the one in the non-disabled stall, I usually use this disabled stall, it has the bench. You can sit down for shaving and all. But I guess you sit down to wash, but I sit down to shave. And the other shower stall emptied out. So I go over there. No soap there either. I thought, well, I'll go to the sink and get a little. 2 of the 3 at the sink didn't have any soap. And the third one just was barely squirting out. So I didn't get off to a very good start. That one's like 5 minutes from my parents' house. But I already had to go to Sam's Club and get gas. Went to McDonald's and got some, what do you call those things? Egg McMuffins to start the day. Here I'm getting on the road at like 9 o'clock in the morning. An hour before I told my friend I'd be on the road. I told her I'd leave at 10. So by the time I finish at the gym without getting a good shower, it is 10 o'clock. So I'm looking at the app and it's telling me to go, by Warrenton, where I used to live, is only 3 minutes longer than going down Interstate 95. And Interstate 95 can change in a heartbeat. So I said, I'll go the longer way. And as I'm driving out there, the Planet Fitness there is always nice and clean. And I can cancel my membership there because that's my home gym. And it's the franchise that I am signed up with. Why am I canceling it? Not because the one in Sterling was bad, even though that might be a good reason. Like I say, they're always good. I gave them a 5-star on Google, and then it asked me if anything had changed. So I had to drop them down to like a 3 and then put a note. It's a shame that this 5-star facility doesn't have any soap. When they put a sign on the front door where they recommend you wear a mask while you're moving throughout the facility for everyone's safety, but then they don't have any way for you to wash your hands or wash your body. And I did have soap in the car because I generally bring, a small bottle when I come to a hotel. But by the time you get wet and then you reach for the soap. It's a little late to run out to the car and get your own soap. You know, that's why I have 2 towels drying over here on the heater, because I had to use both my towels. One I had brought to shower, one I brought in case there was a pool or a hot tub down here. And I could, I guess, use one of the hotel ones, but you never know if you can or you can't. Some hotels only put a couple in a room. Anyway, I stopped at Warrenton. Everything was fine there. The floors are a little slick, but not as slick as the LA Fitness in Sterling. I'm afraid if I go there a whole lot, I'll break my butt. But I have learned to walk along the edge of the pool where they have the little diamonds in the concrete that's right beside the pool. It's much less slick than the tile that goes in front of the shower. So anyway, I get to Warrenton, I take a shower, but that's putting me, like 15 minutes late to getting to my friend's house. I told her I'd be there by noon. So I got there really about 12:25, because once I hit the next little town, it was every red light turned red as I approached. So I think it took me 3 hours to go 60 miles to get to my friend's house, and then it was a 3-hour drive to Roanoke. But speaking of that, let me show you something else at this hotel. And I guess you'll figure out which one it is, but they have a sign. There's my towels, Ranger towel and my gym towel drying on the, what do you call that thing? HVAC. But I get here, and they've got the same old nonsense about how they're cleaning everything so well. Even in here, cleaned and disinfected for your comfort and protection. Let me see if I'm getting it in there. There we go. And then I'm taking complimentary housekeeping by request. Because of COVID, they're only coming in if you ask, because unless you stay 4 nights or longer, then they'll provide a full room cleaning on the 5th. And I'm in this nice shower. You can see it's a little wet from where I've been. And a nice light. They got all this fancy soap in here. And I look up and look at that vent fan. Is it showing? Nope. Let's see. Where is the fan? I'd have to close the door to turn it this way. I'm sure you can see it now. I don't know how well. That thing is dusty, dusty, dusty. So if you're going to put a sign up here saying how we've cleaned and disinfected for your comfort and protection, you darn sure ought to do it. And if you haven't figured out yet, I'm in a Thru by Hilton. We got 2 beds here. They have no coffee pots, no microwave, but I have a little tiny refrigerator in here. An iron and an ironing board, but I haven't quite figured out how to heat water with an iron. So anyway, a little grumpy today because a lot of stuff I've tried to do hasn't worked out exactly right. And we ran into a really heavy rainstorm on the way down. So my friend's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're driving," because I wouldn't have been able to see very far in the rain. I couldn't see very far in the rain either, but I could see far enough, and I'm used to driving in the rain. So that's my chillin' from Roanoke. And I ain't really chilling too much, but I'm hoping to lay. I can't really go to sleep yet because I don't know if she's going to call and need me to pick her up. And I am in her car, so I need to go do that if she does ask. I guess I'm going to pour this lukewarm tea out. And you might have seen my big cup in there. I went down and got ice in that insulated cup because there's no ice bucket either. But they do have an ice machine downstairs. I think that the theme of this hotel is to not make a lot of waste. So I guess they don't put an ice bucket. Maybe you can ask for one down at the desk. I don't know. They had a bit of trouble finding coffee, and I didn't dare ask for more cream. What do you think about that nasty vent? I wouldn't. And then downstairs they got one of these rotating signs on the TV. You know how they're enhancing their cleaning. I don't know. Maybe that's why I stay at other people's houses where I have a little more control over the cleanliness. If I had a vacuum here, I'd probably vacuum that thing, but I just think it's nasty to say that that's a clean bathroom. And I know the vent doesn't really affect much. It's sucking out, so it shouldn't be a problem. But then, you want to wonder about the sheets. And I didn't see any signs of bed bugs, which is good. And they do have, it's all linoleum here or tile, so bed bugs apparently can't crawl on that, so they shouldn't be able to change from room to room. When my house got infected by them by one of the tenants, I learned that it's easier for them to move on carpet, and they can't they can't get around on linoleum or laminate or whatever this flooring stuff is called these days. So that's probably a plus in a hotel. A lot of hotels do this so they can have dogs in here, and they put a barking dog across the street. And as the house sitter in me, I don't want to blame the dog. I want to blame the dingbat owners. They were louder than the darn dog. They've quieted down now, so I imagine we'll be able to sleep well. But this is going kind of long, and I'm not known for being grumpy or gripey. And, your best face is also always on social media, but here you get the reality of me. But I'm going to start chilling here right when I hang up, and I'll try to get this uploaded. It may not go live till tomorrow. I don't know how fast it'll upload on the Wi-Fi here. But at least there's free Wi-Fi. And there's supposed to be a hot breakfast from 6 to 9. I'm not going to look too close, and I hope the hot is hot and the cold is cold. Nothing worse than a cup of hot tea that's not hot, and you have no way to heat it up. Y'all have a great night. I'll be back in Northern Virginia tomorrow, and then off to Pennsylvania Wednesday. Well, there's the text. Maybe that's her. Y'all have a great night. Love you. God bless. Bye-bye.